Hello guys, let's look at Kcse predictors. We shall use Cekena, that is Cekena paper 2. So here we have our two questions. Our first question is Microsoft Excel. So I'll be taking you through that one. We have the following data was extracted from IEBC registration book. Use it to answer the questions given. Enter the data shown below in a spreadsheet and save it as election 2022, 12 marks. So the first thing here is to type this data. Then we go and answer the questions. So we are renaming the first worksheet as registration, but remember we are saving our file as election 2022. So this is the work. I have typed this data. So I just go to File, Save As, then we save it as instructed. So this is election 2022. That is where I get the first marks. Then the next thing is to rename this one into registration. So we rename this one as registration, like that. Then after having done that one, we are supposed to go to the next question. The next question is what? So copy the work in sheet 2 and rename it as registration 1. So we do that. We copy this work in sheet 1. We go to sheet 2. We first of all rename it as registration 2.1. Then paste our work here. That is done. So what is the next question? Sort the worksheet in ascending order of their county. Then the next thing is get the total of the second registration for each county. That is, get the total. So the totals will be the total of registration 2. We shall get it here. So we go and do that. We sort our work. Like we highlight, then go to data menu, then sort. So we are sorting this one according to county. So I click on OK. That one is done. We are working on ascending order. So that one is done. And also it's important to make sure that I double click here to see everything at once, at a glance. So this is what I have. You see now I have sorted according to county. And then I was told to get the total. So you can just have the total here. Then find the total of this one. So this is equals to sum. Open the bracket, sorry. This is equals to sum. Open the bracket. Click on the first value. Put full colon. Click on the last value. Then you can close the bracket and hit enter. So we have calculated the total. This is the total of the votes. So the next question is copy details on registration sheet and paste it in sheet 3. Rename it as registration 2. So we do that again. So I just copy this, copy, home, copy, go to sheet 3. This is registration 2. And then paste my stuff here, paste. So that's what I have. So far again, we have to do this thing. This one, it must be done. Then the next question is, given that the first registration was less than second registration in all counties by 12%, use whole numbers, no decimal places. Enter the label percent increment in cell A20 and the value 12 in B20. Then the next thing is insert a column between constituency name and second registration and label it as first registration. Use absolute cell reference to calculate the first registration 6 marks. So guys, I just do that. So I'm supposed to go to cell A20 here. So I go to A20, cell A20. Let's have zoom it. Zoom. So I have that one so that I can be in a position to zoom. So I go to A20, this is A20. I type the percent increment. So I just type percent increment there that way. Then once I do that, the next thing is that I go to B20. B20 is here. So this is B20. In B20, I type value 12. I type value 12. That is 12 should be 12%. That is 12%. Then, once I do that, I insert B20. I insert a column between this way. So I insert a column here. Insert that way. And then I call it first registration. So I just call it first registration. Just change this one to first. To first registration. Then you notice that these ones has been they have been superscript. So this is superscript. Also this one is superscript. So I just go to this point, dialog box here, then superscript. Then I click on OK. So that one is there. So we have been told to use cell. That is absolute cell reference. So I'll take this one multiplied by, I put $sign B, again $sign 20. So it will take this 12%. So from there I just click on, it says it was 12% less. So it will be, I cross the bracket here. Again, we shall have E20, we shall have E2 minus that one, because you have been told it was less. So E2, that is the value of second registration, minus 12% of it. So I click on that way. So I come here, drag this one up to that point. Then the examiner says I remove decimal places. So I just go to where decimal places are here, and then I decrease the decimal places like that. So far that is that. So I zoom out, we go again to the questions. So insert a column, we have done that one. The next one is get the totals for the first registration and second registration in G4. So I just go to G4 here. Just type equals for the G4 equals first registration plus second registration. I hit enter. So this is the total. Then from there, I just pull this down up to that point, like that, up to that point. Then from there, we go and proceed to the next question. The next question is, we go to the next question. Some voters transferred from the station to the new stations using the total registered quorum and the voters transferred quorum. Calculate the update registration in cell H4. Copy the formula downward. So I just go to H4, updated registration here. So H4 equals to total registration minus transferred registration. Then I hit on enter. So this is the updated list. Then I just pull it down. So far this is what I have. These ones are not required. Then I go to the next point. Using the total registered quorum, determine the lowest registered voters in the lowest registered voters in G21. So I go to G21 here. I just go to equals minimum, open the bracket, take the total registration there. Then you go to full colon, you click the last one. So you use the minimum function and enter, and then press enter. Then the next question is the average number for registered voters in all constituencies in H19. So I just go to H19. H19 should be that one. So I needed to get the average of registered voters. So I just go to equals to average, open the bracket, then total registration, click that one, put full colon, click the last one, then close the bracket and press enter. So that's what we have. The next question is what? Is create a column chart or graph on new sheet, name it as votes. That compares the constituency name against first registration and second registration. Then you label it the chart title as voter registration 2022, x-axis as constituency name, y-axis as registered voters, and legend to the right. So we do all that. The first thing is to use the constituency name against the first and second registration. I highlight it, then I go to insert. We are told to insert a column graph. So I just go to column graph, I click on it. So this is what I have. But once I do this, I'm supposed to move it to a new location. So you just come to this point here, I click on move. Move, you get this dialog box. So I go to first option, new sheet. This one, then call it votes, small letters, votes. So after doing that, I click on OK. The chart moves into a new sheet called votes. You can see that. So here, you just need to do the necessary. You need to do the necessary. Like now, you can just go to layout here, go to legend. We insert our legend, show legend to the right. That one has been done. And then we have chart axis title. First of all, we start with the chart title. You can write above the chart there. Then type inside. You type inside the chart. The title given is voter registration 2022. That is the title of that. Then we have the chart axis. The chart axis. So we just go to this one. We have a title of the chart here, down here. It comes here. So the x-axis is constituency name. Constituency name. Then we go to the next one, chart title. Primary, we have the vertical. We just type the vertical. So here, this is what we have. So our axis name here will be registered voters. Registered voters, like that. So that's what the examiner expects us to do. And then from there, print the registration and vote, that is registration and vote graphs. So you just go to this point, you just go to file, then print. Then from here, you can be in a position to send. You see now my printer is offline, but I can choose another printer here, then click on print. So that is question number 1. We go to question number 2. Question number 2, we have the tables below. We have a table called runner. We have another table called monitor, and another table called monitoring. Are extracts of records kept in caretaker secondary schools for max mentoring. So we have runners table, we have monitors table, and we also have the monitoring table. So what is the expectation? Using a database application software, create a database file named max. You see max is in capital letters. Create the 3 tables named runner, monitor, and monitoring as shown above. Then set the primary key for each table. Create relationship among tables. Then create a form for each of the above. First of all, let's capture up to that. So what we are supposed to do here is to right click here, let me just remove this. It is right click here, then you just go to new, then access. Then you just type Max and press enter. Then open your Microsoft Access database like that. And then you now proceed to create then new table. Now when you are creating the new table here, and you are creating the new table, we shall use the examiner's instructions. So we have runners. We have runners number. Then we have name. We have the runners. The runner name. Then there we have gender. We also have the student fee paid, like that. So for the gender here, you can just use lookup wizard. Then use go to this point. I will type in the values I want next. So you have male, and female. Then you click on finish. Then this student's stuff, this is currency. Then you have, this is the primary key. So I right click, save this one. This one is called runners table. So that one is done. The next thing is to cross it. Then I retype data. So we have create the next one. We are creating the next one. The next one is monitoring. So we have the monitor. We have monitors number. We have monitors number. We have monitors name. Then we have the section like that. So here the monitor's number is the primary key. Then right click, save this one, save it as monitors table. It is in capital letters. Monitors table. So that's the monitors table. This one is runners table. We can rename. Otherwise you lose a mark or something. So we have monitors. Again, we created the last one. The last table is monitoring. So we have the monitoring number. We have the monitoring date. Then we have the runner number, and then we have the monitor number, and then we have the subject name. So this is what we have. For the monitoring number, this can still be the primary key here, because I cannot see any other field that can be used, or you can just use an auto number, because this one can be the foreign key. So after doing this, you right click this one, save it as monitoring. This is monitorings table, like that. So far, guys, we have our 3 tables. So I can right click here and cross all. Now I need to bring data. I would need to bring data here. So I have the data with me. We start with the first table. Just copy. Then once I copy, I open my first table and paste. So this is I have pasted 5 records. Then I cross this one. I go to this monitoring table. That is the monitoring table. I get, this is the, just needed to get to see the data. we are talking about monitorings. So the monitorings data is this one. It has many data. So I copy this, paste in Excel, in Access. Again, I go to this one and bring its data. Copy and paste. So far, guys, I have now done that. So the next thing is to create relationships. So I just go to this point, database tools, relationships. Then can remove this one by deleting them. That one. So I needed to go to design here, then show table. Here, show table. So I click this one, I click this one, I click this one. So these are my tables. Now you'll notice that this one here, it has run as number. So this is the primary key, this is the foreign key. So I enforce and click on create. Okay, there is an open table. First of all, I can just save this one. So my table, this table is open. Also this table is open. So you cannot create a relationship when tables are open. So I go to run as table, I bring this one. So I was saying this is the primary key, here it's the foreign key. So I can enforce referential integrity. So the next thing here, we have the monitor's number. Monitor's number, I think, can be brought here. I see we have one-to-one relationship here. Can't create. Okay, there is a point here, monitoring number. We remove the primary key of the monitoring number. So right-click, save, right-click, cross. So we go to this one, monitoring. We have the monitor's number, M. The monitoring number there, it's different. Monitoring date, monitor number. So we just go to this, go back to this one, relationships. So here we have monitor's number. This one can be brought here, like that. The foreign key versus so this is the relationship. The foreign key versus the primary key. So I'm done with relationship, cross. So the next thing is to create forms. Just hit on the table, create, then hit this form. A form is created for you. That is the runner's form. Then do the same to this one. Hit on that one, go to create, then hit this one, form. You get your form there. Right-click, save, right-click, cross. Again, for the last one, do the same, create, hit form. In case the examiner has not given you much on what to do on these forms. So I'm done with that. The next thing is to go to the question paper. We have created the forms. So create a query, name fees to display runner's name, gender, and student fee balances, given that the total student fees is this, 5 marks. Again, you're supposed to create a query named below this to display runners whose fee balance is below that 600. Then you create a report based on question H to display runner's name and balance, you save it as balance report. Then you create a report named monitoring to display runner's name, marks title, a name of the monitor, and the monitoring dates, the title of the report as monitoring per teacher. Then you print the queries. So I will go straight and do those activities. So the first activity that I'm supposed to do is to create a query. So I just do that. I go to create, then query design. So this is the query design. So I am using the runners. So I shall have all of them so that I can see the fields that I'm supposed to. You see the way I have double clicked the forms. So I'm supposed to display runner's name, then gender, then student fee balance. Then so I put the fees. This is a student's fees paid. This is a student fees paid. and we have been told the fee payable is 65K. So here I just type balance, then put a full colon, then I pull this. So 65,000 minus fees paid, like that. So here, because of space, I needed to put the square bracket for that case. So I click on save. So this is my formula. Now I am supposed to save the query as fees. Right click, save, fees, fees. I click on OK, enter. So once I run this query, I close it and run, I should be in a position to see the fees balance here. I will be in a position to see the fees balance. So you can see the fees balance, 65,000 minus whatever the student has paid. So right click, save, right click, close. The next question was create a query to display fees balance. So what you do, you just copy this. Copy and then paste. Then here, give it the new name. The new name should be below that 6,000. Below that 6,000. So this is the query I have. And for that case, I will go right click, go to design view. I just go to fees balance here. I use criteria up to where fees balance is. Then I type below that 6,000. That is whatever I need. So I right click here, save, right click, cross. Then you can see whether it will display all students whose fees balance is below 36,000. That one is done. The next question is create a report. Create a report. So before you create the report, you base it on a query. So create a query in design view. So bring all the tables on board and then close this. Pull this up to that point. So you can now answer the question, seeing all the fields. So create a report based on H. So based on H, that means I don't need again to create a query. I had not read that. So based on H is this one. So for that case, you just click on it, this one, go to create, then press this, report. It will automatically create for you the report. This is my report based on H. So you can see my report. So from there, save it as balance report. So right click, okay, we need to save it, then rename. So here, we call it balance report. Balance report. There we are. Then the next question is create a report named monitoring. So this one we shall now create a query. Create, go to query design. Again, bring all the tables on board. This is the easiest way of creating a report. So I go to this point. It should display runner's name. Runner's name. Should display balance. I should display name and balance. Sorry. Max. That is max. We have max. Max title. Max title. Just a moment. Okay, I think we shall use the section, this one as the title. Then name of the monitor, monitor's name. Then it should display monitoring dates, The title of the report is monitoring per teacher. So this one you can just save it as monitoring per teacher. Monitoring per teacher. So first of all, I can just cross this one, monitoring per teacher. This is what I have. So I can just now populate the report. Click on it, go to create, then click on report. It automatically creates your report. So this is the monitoring per teacher. Lastly, what does the examiner say on the question paper? Print queries fees and below 36 and the reports. So for that case, you just press Control P. But if you look at my reports, it looks somehow scaring, so I can put it as landscape. Page setup, you change the orientation. Then from there, it can fit the paper that I am using. So after that one, after printing, that's done. So guys, thank you very much for watching. Remember to subscribe if you haven't subscribed, and also get copies of these papers from my website. The URL or my website address is just below this video. Thank you very much.